So let's start. So this is this you will check only if your application has some requirement where someone will be accessing that application or that data, or the data which you have saved in storage via REST API operation. If not, you will uncheck that. And whenever I say, guys, you will do this in this case in that manner, I never expect you to decide. As an implementation engineer and administrator, it is not expected from you to decide this. It will be there that I'm looking for a storage account. REST API should be checked or unchecked. But why am I explaining it to you? You should not be blank in your interview. You can definitely say, without any hesitation, you can definitely say that I definitely wasn't a part of this discussion whenever they used to discuss whether they want APIs or not. Whenever we used to get request or build sheets or request or email for storage account, they would give us complete information whether they are looking for API, whether they are looking for anonymous access or not. But you should know कि इन सब का मतलब क्या होता है. ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि you'll simply say बस वहां से आता था and I used to do it. That is not the case. Otherwise, they can simply hire a fresher from engineering college and he can do the same thing for you. And you should have understanding, but yes, you are not decisive authority. That's okay. But you understand that. Fine. Let's say that sometimes it happens in low level diagram also, there will be some discrepancies. So if you see something that clearly a client is creating a website which should be publicly accessible, where people should download data, pictures from public, and he is planning to put those in container, and in your build sheet you see this is unchecked, you can cross verify this. But when will you do this? When you have understanding. If you don't have understanding, you'll simply just create whatever it is. So you should have understanding, but you're not decisive. Maybe you can check this once. Okay, I think this is unchecked and this is contradicting. Maybe you can check this with your team, with your architect also. You can check this once, right? But you won't decide or you won't impose something. Still, if they say, no, no, this has been checked and this is correct, fine, they'll create it. That's not your job, none of your business. However they want to do it, create it. Okay, so what does it say? That allowing the it enables the anonymous access on the containers, right? So storage, what kind of services a storage account has? We have containers. Under containers we have blob and files, we have queues, we have tables, we have disk, we have yeah, we have disk. So this is specifically we are talking about containers. Just because I check this or uncheck this, this is not impacting my other components like file share, queue, and table. We are not talking about that. Okay, only container. So should container be publicly be accessible or not? If you want that to be accessible in public, if it needs to be available publicly, then you will check this. If your owner has asked you to do that, or your application owner or your client has asked you to do that, do it. If you don't do it, then we will not be able to share it. Like yesterday I was not able to share it, but today let me show it to you, that how does it make a difference. If we check that, I went back to that storage account and I checked this. By the way, with this setting, it is not one time. If you leave it here, you can change it later. So in yesterday's account, I changed that setting, and now let's see if you guys are able to access this. This is my yesterday's account. I'm going to container. Okay, so we are talking about only container. This point, guys, second point, it is specific to container. It is not talking about file share. It is not talking about queues, not talking about tables, only container. So let's check container. So if I share this link with you, let me know if you guys are able to access this or not. You can simply check this in browser.
Yes, sir, it's working.
It's working. And
Yes.
yesterday it was not working because that was unchecked for this one, for container. By the way, do not get confused between this container, guys. Okay, this container has nothing to do with your DevOps wala container. Kubernetes container, you must have heard. And if you see somewhere that they're looking for Kubernetes container, this container has nothing to do with that container. Okay, this Kubernetes container, it's altogether a different technology. This container in Azure Storage, it is simply a folder, just a folder where you save some data. That's all. This container, it says containers. Right? So if you want that to be accessible, keep it checked. Enable storage account access keys. Check this if you want this to be accessed via keys. If you do not want, then uncheck it. Now, what is the key access? I'll show it to you later. If you want this account or this storage account to be accessed by IDs which are there in Entra, for example, using which IDs you log into my portal, if I want you to use those IDs, I will check this. Otherwise, I'll uncheck this. Minimum TLS version. You don't have to understand what is a TLS version, but make sure you understand or you remember these three. There was a question, a very simple question in interview that, okay, you work on storage. So what is the TLS version you use? And guy did not have any experience. He simply answered version 9. Do you even see any version 9 here? So there should not be a blunder like this. There are only three versions, 1, 1.1, 1.2. You can say anything. No one is going to ask you what is the version, why do you use 1.1, why do you use 1.2. No one is going to ask, but at least you should know there are three versions. Latest is 1.2. So if someone is asking that which TLS version do you use in your storage account on a daily basis which you're using, so you can say sometimes we use 1.1, sometimes we use 1.2, depends as on the nature of the application or depends on the request. Simple. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
What about
Understood.
others? Yes, no, are you getting it, guys? Ganesh, Satish, Samir,
Yes, Sulbhai.
Shruti? I hope you guys are getting it right. Okay. So this one, this is new option, by the way. Wherever you see preview in bracket, which means this is not available yet. This is available for few users. You may see it, you may not see it. I have applied for beta program, so maybe I'm seeing it. I'm not sure if you guys will see it or not. But this is preview. This is not yet available in production environment. So what does it say? Permitted scope from copy operation. Fine. So your storage account, can it be copied, or can you copy something from any other storage account? Fine. Any other storage account from Microsoft Entra tenant? I mean, any storage account from tenant? Yes. Same tenant. Anything which is there under UT-Kloud, you can copy the data from one storage account to another storage account. Or do you want it from some specific virtual network? That you can select here. So we'll say any account from Entra ID. That's fine. This one, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Let's leave it. We are not focusing on data factory, data lake, etc. Those are purely, we'll go to data side. I mean, the data administrator or data analysis, data administrator, those will take care of this. So you don't have to worry about it. Access protocol, you don't have to worry about it. Again, it is specifically for data lake generation 2. Okay. Access tier, hot and cool. This is very important. I will explain it to you later. But this is very important, and mostly it's most frequently asked questions, may say, and it impacts a lot when it comes to billing also. So this is very important. Right? Enable large file share. If you check this, then you can have your storage account maximum up to 100 TB. If you do not check, then 5 TB. Click next. Networking. Now your storage account, should it be accessible from all the network? Yes. If I keep this, then it is applicable and you will be able to access it from everywhere. from public also, from private, everywhere. Do you want it just from the private network? Yes. So if I select here, which private network? Now I am creating it in East US. I do not have any virtual network in East US, so I won't see any. But if I select this option, then my storage account will be accessible only from that particular region. Now understand, the first example which I gave you, this is a different example. But that does not mean that you will use a storage account always just for the public use. Maybe it's an internal application. You just want to save some data. So कई बार ऐसा होगा, internal भी होगा. That time it will come to picture that where your virtual machine is. If your virtual machine is in East US, and if you're creating your storage account, which is to be accessible only from that particular virtual machine, and no one else wants to access, then you will create your storage account in East US. In my case, my virtual machine is in Central India, and I'm creating my storage account in East US. So I'm not going to see that machine or that actually subnet. You can't select machine here, by the way. You can select virtual network and you can select subnet. So anything in that subnet, be it a machine, be it some app service, be it some Kubernetes service, anything, that service can access your storage account. If you select this option and then you select a virtual network and subnet, only those can access your storage account. Apart from them, no one can access your storage account then. Is it clear, guys? If I select this option. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Even if I'm selecting this, guys, my data, it is still being on the internet. Yes, this is a good example. Let's say this is my storage account. If I keep public, then anyone from here can access my data. This is from outside. This is from internet. They're coming to Azure. They're accessing my data. Even if my virtual machine I'm using, they're coming over the internet and they're accessing my data directly. Everyone can access the data, but over the internet. If I select the next option, the select second option, right, where I select one VNet and subnet, then what will happen? Only machines or only resources within this VNet and subnet, they can access my storage. But again, how? They are not going directly like this. They are also going over the internet. They are also going over the internet. But what has changed now? No one from outside can access it now. Why? Because I selected a particular virtual network. So this is the difference between public and this is the difference between selected. But both of them are coming from the internet. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, bhai.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I do not want any sort of internet connectivity. I want this kind of connectivity, direct connectivity. Then what? Then I do have an option there, which is called private endpoints. We'll see that later. I mean, everything practical we are going to see later, but that is what your private endpoint is. If I go back to OneNote, sorry, my portal. So if I select this, all will be able to communicate over the internet. If I select this, few will be able to connect. Only the virtual network I select and subnet I select, they will be able to communicate with my storage account again over the internet. But if I select this, there is no communication over the internet then I will be able to communicate only to resources which are a part of the virtual network. Because see, the moment I select disable public access, it is asking me a private endpoint. And the moment I create a private endpoint, it will ask me to create a VNet and subnet. Look at this. So whichever resources I have in this VNet and subnet, only those resources will be able to access this. And this is not over the internet. Then this is internal communication. The moment I select private access, what happens? Storage account gets a NIC assigned, and on this NIC, it gets a private IP assigned. Before this, there is no NIC, there is no IP. It's over the internet directly. Is it clear, guys? Difference between public restricted, and private.
Yes, sir.
Public restricted may be आप जो है एक वर्चुअल नेटवर्क ही सेलेक्ट कर रहे हो, but data it's still traveling over the internet. This is going like this. But the moment you say private endpoint, then it will start communicating like this. And public, it's public. However you want it, it will communicate over the internet. Clear to everyone, guys?
Yes.
As of now, we'll keep it in public. Routing preference, wherever Microsoft network is available, it will select Microsoft. And if it is not available, then it will select internet. And if I select internet, all over it will select internet. I mean, it will give preference to internet. This will give preference to Microsoft network. But if there is no Microsoft network, it will have to use internet. And if there is no internet connectivity, it will have to use Microsoft. This is just the preference. Okay, now this is very crucial, right? They may ask you the security. How do you secure your storage account in your environment? They may ask you this, right? So these are the security aspects. You can say that this is how you secure your uh, storage account. And then how do you uh, protect, or how do you uh, make it redundant? So these are the options which you will talk about, that how to make recovery easy for your storage accounts. So look at these options now. We have unchecked all of them in previous sessions, but now we'll check we'll see one by one and we'll check them. First is enable point in time restore of containers. Again, understand this is only for containers. Okay, under storage account, we have file, we have shares, we have file shares, we have tables, blobs, etc. This is only for containers. So if I enable this, what will happen? That I will be able to restore the container. If let's say if someone has deleted my container, not the storage account I'm talking about. Okay, this is my storage account, and let's say I have two containers. This is my test folder is the container, and this is my container 2. So if here, if I have one file, I uploaded this file. Let's say by afternoon, someone deleted this file, or someone made some changes to this one, which I did not like, right? I did not like that. And I want to restore it. To what point? I remember I have worked till afternoon, and someone has changed it in the evening. So if I have enabled this option, point in time, it will give me all the options available here, that these are the versions available of your container. Do you want to restore this? Which version do you want to restore? Now I know that I have made some changes in afternoon, so I'll go ahead and restore from the afternoon version. So whatever changes were there, they will be vanished again, and I'll have the correct version. This is available in my Google Drive also. Whenever you guys make some goof up, let me show it to you. Just to make you understand, I'll show it to you on Google. Now look at this, guys. This file, I have told you many times that do not delete it or do not edit it while I'm doing it, or but I've seen many times many of you change it, right? And when I log in, I see something else, that I had created all the users and everything, and now they are missing. What happened? Where it went? So what do I do then? I click here, then I go to file information, then I check versions. Now look at this. I see all the versions. This is updated by me. Now look at this. Someone on 26 changed it at this time. And now if I see that changes what I made here in 91, they are not available. So now I know that this person has made the changes. I'm just giving examples, guys. Okay, no changes were made, by the way. So I know that Nazneen has made some changes. She deleted some data, or maybe she added some data, which I did not like. So what can I do? I can go here and click here and download it. Once I download it, I can upload the same downloaded file here, and that will be again my current version. That will become my current version. So whatever changes were done here by Nazneen, they will be vanished. This is how I can upload or change the data version by version. Every time you make change, there will be a new version. Look at this, how many versions on the same date. You will see multiple versions. Even if I make some changes, you delete something and I'll have my file available from here. So this is what a versioning is. So if you want that, enable point in time restore for containers. Yes, you can do that. How many days do you want? 6 days. So for 6 days, I can do this. Got it? Got it, guys? What is this? What option is this?
Yeah.
Next is enable soft delete of blob. Now this is specifically talking about blob, not whole container, blobs. Now when I go here, this is my container, right? This is the containers folder. These are my containers. If I go to one of the container, these are my blobs. If I delete this, done. It's gone. I will not be able to retrieve it. Why? Because on this storage account, I have not enabled the soft delete. If I had soft delete, I will, and if I click here on show deleted item, that will again come here and I would have an option to restore. So if I want that option, I will enable this soft delete. For how many days do you want me to keep the data? 7 days. Fine. Blob is nothing but files. File को blob बोलते हैं यहाँ पर, guys. Don't get confused. Is it clear, guys? With these two options, this is for container point in time restore. I just showed you what is point in time. This is soft delete for blobs, matlab particular files के लिए. If you don't do this, this is how it will look. There is no option. Now I deleted that blob and it's gone. There is no option to recover it. Now the new account which I'm creating, इसमें हमने enable किया. Here I will check. I will delete it for you and I'll restore it. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now same, enable soft delete for your container. This was just for blob, but now what if someone deletes my container completely? Then what? Right? Then I have soft delete for the container also. 7 days. If someone deletes, I can recover it in 7 days. Same thing, soft delete for file share. Here it is. File share. What if someone deletes my file share? When I create one and if someone deletes, fine, I should be able to recover it within 7 days from deleted item. Is it clear, guys? All these options?
Yes.
What about others, guys? Are you getting it? Any confusion, any doubt?
Yes, well, clear.
Nazneen, is it clear? Nirmal, is it clear?
Sohail, I have one confusion.
Hmm.
So enable soft delete for bobs, days to retrain deleted bobs is 7.
Hmm.
So after 7 days, I would not be able to recover any data.
Right. No. Then it will be permanent deleted.
Then it will be permanently.
Yes. You don't
And
even
if I
have to
want
do
to,
it. It will be there in 7 days. It will be there for 7 days. After 7 days, it will be deleted permanently. Yes, sorry, you were asking something?
and if I want to keep for 30 days,
Yeah,
then
you
I
can
can
increase
do
it.
from
Yeah, you can increase it. Let's see how many maximum days are there. 30 days, 60 days, 90. Okay, so you can keep it for 1 year. Minimum you can
Okay.
keep it for 1 day. Maximum you can keep it for 365 days.
65 days. Okay. Understand.
Got it? So whenever the question comes, how you use to secure your storage account or what are the best practices you follow while creating a storage account, you have to talk about these and you have to talk about these. Understood? Interviewer is not going to ask you one by one. It is your job to explain and give an elaborated answer. Even if you don't talk much about it, it's okay. But data protection, this is very important, and they are looking for it that who understands it well. किसकी understanding अच्छी है इस बारे में. You should be able to explain it very clearly. It's okay even if you don't remember all these and exact names, everything, but you should know the concept that there is a soft delete concept for blob. There is a soft delete concept for container. There is a concept of an enable point in time restore for containers. You should know all these. There is a enable soft delete for file share. Is there any soft delete for table? Did we see anything like that?
No.
No. So don't just say that there is a soft delete for everything. No, there is not. That's not available for everything, right? Keep versioning of blob. Now, see here we talk about containers, right? Containers के version की बात की हमने. Now here we have blob version. This is exactly same what I just showed you. Blob as in file, right? I told you blob का मतलब है file. This is exactly like that. Keep all the version. Whenever we are changing, you can keep them. Or if you want to delete, okay, 7 days के changes को रखो आप, remaining delete करते रहो. So if you guys make some changes, I can go back to 7 days and upload that file again. So this is what it is. Enable versioning for blob. Is it clear? Change fade little.
Yes.
Not worried about it. Yes, guys. Any doubt in this section?
No, Soil.
Should I proceed then?
सोहेल
Yes.
सोहेल आपने जो वन नोट शेयर किया है ना व्हाट्सएप पे,
Mm-hmm.
तो जब भी मैं जाके उसको ओपन करती हूँ ना, तो जैसा आपका वन नोट है ना,
Hmm.
वैसा वन नोट नहीं दिखता है वहां पे, ऐसा क्यों?
So do you have OneNote app?
वन
This
नोट
is,
ऐप नहीं है मेरे पास.
yeah, so download OneNote app, then you will see it like this. You are looking
अच्छा
at
अच्छा,
web version maybe.
हाँ जी हाँ जी, हाँ करेक्ट करेक्ट.
So download OneNote app and then open it in as a read only and you'll see it.
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है, थैंक यू.
Okay. Next is encryption. Do you guys remember we did the encryption in disk for our virtual machines? Encrypted disk we talked about. Yes, guys. Yes, no, anyone remembers? Disk encryption we discussed. I asked you to create few disks, and if those are disks are encrypted or not, we discussed them.
Yes, I have a basic knowledge about that.
No, do you guys remember we doing it? Anyone who has the knowledge outside, it's okay. We did the encryption, disk encryption topic. Do you guys remember it? When I create the disk, this is what we discuss. Do you guys remember? And I explained that what does it mean that platform managed key? And then you encrypt it by yourself. No one? And I'm sure we did it, guys.
No, I don't remember. Like, we have done this.
Let me see. If I go back here. I asked you to create a disk, whether it should be encrypted or not. Did we not do that? This part,
No,
don't you recall it at all?
No.
No.
नो
No.
सर.
No, sir. Bhai.
Let's see. Fine, let me see. If we have done it, I'll share the video number with you. You guys will have to watch it one more time. If not, then we'll cover it. It's not a huge topic, by the way. That's completely fine. Encryption is something where I'm sure we did it, guys. I explained it to you that when you remove the disk from here and attach it to some other operating system, you can use that as a data disk if it is not encrypted. And if it is encrypted, you will not be able to use it. I'll search the video. I'm sure we have done it in the same batch I'm talking about. I'll share it with you. Don't worry. So like we have encryption in our disk, similarly, we have encryption here in storage. So when we select MMK, that is Microsoft Managed Keys. उसका मतलब है कि Microsoft उसको encrypt कर रहा है. Be it your data disk or storage account, both of them are encrypted. All the time they are encrypted by Microsoft. But what do you mean by Microsoft? That if someone is able to get access to that disk, be it your OS disk or this storage account, and he or she has access to Microsoft portal, not your portal, any portal, even to his own portal, they will be able to use it. Why? Because it is blocked by Microsoft managed key, and it will work in Microsoft environment anywhere in Azure environment. But yes, if they try to copy this disk and send it to AWS or GCP or on-prem, then it will not work because it is encrypted using Microsoft managed key. But what is the drawback? That if someone gets access to your data and they try to decrypt it on Microsoft Azure itself, they will be able to do it. So this is the drawback of Microsoft managed key. So if you want your own key, you can select customer managed key, and then you will have to create a key that we can create using Key Vault. That is a separate topic that I will show it to you. That's a different topic. How do you create it? But when it comes to customer managed key, then no one can access it without you or without having access to that particular key. Do you guys use computer, and anyone of you have some BitLocker on it? BitLocker encryption or anything before login, it asks for a key. Your office
I
computer.
used to
I'm talking
have
about.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
yes, that is your customer managed key. I mean, only you will have, and so anyone else, if they get access to your computer, let's say even if they have access to your hard disk, if it is not encrypted by a key, what can happen maximum is, I do not have password to your computer. I will open your hardware. I will open your laptop. I will remove that disk. I will attach that disk to some other laptop as a data disk and use it. And there is no key. And then it is not asking for any password because I logged into that laptop using some other user ID. Let me explain it to you. I'm sure I've done it, but let's quickly do that again. First, I'll explain it to you in laptop, and then we'll talk about in virtual machine. By the way, that's all for storage account. That's all we had. After this, tags we know, review, it's okay, and we simply review and create it. So any doubts do you guys have here before we
No,
go to
sir.
the, because this managed key, it's not that important. We have 5 minutes. I will explain it to you then, if you guys do not have any questions, right? So let's say that I have a laptop. It has a C drive. C drive में मेरा data होता है, operating system होता है, right? It is locked. किसी को मेरा laptop मिल गया, person opened the laptop, see user ID and password वाला prompt. Person doesn't know that. So he says, okay, fine, but I want the data somehow. I don't want to reset or anything. What will he do? He'll bring his laptop. He has his own C drive, disk लगा हुआ है, using which he can log into his laptop. He's already in, but he can attach one more disk, right? Data disk. He has a data disk. So he will use your OS disk as a data disk. So the moment he does that, he's already logged into his laptop because he has his own operating system disk. So he's logged into laptop. Now your disk will appear to him as a data disk, as a simple data disk. उसके लिए वो operating system disk जैसा काम नहीं करेगी because he did not attach that as an operating system disk. For him, it will act as a normal data disk like this. He can simply log in and then check all the details. And this is how he can get your data. Same thing happens in virtual machines also. Let's say this is my virtual machine, right? Somehow I got access to your C drive. Somehow I got access to this disk. I managed to copy it, right? I managed to copy it, but I still cannot use it directly. Data मुझको नहीं मिल रहा है. If I attach it to some virtual machine, let's say somehow I created a snapshot, copied to a pen drive, and I managed to get it. Your machine is working, but I got a copy of it, right? But if I attach it to my virtual machine as an operating system disk, it will again ask for a password. The moment I turn on the machine, it will ask user ID and password. Why? Because user ID and password के through ही ये disk पे login किया जा सकता है. But then what will I do? I will go to my machine. I will create a machine जिसमें मेरा operating disk दूसरा ही होगा, and I will attach an existing disk as a data disk. Here I will take your disk which I have copied. Operating system disk को यहाँ पर as a data disk लगा दूंगा, and then I will log into your machine, to my machine, and then there I will see your disk simply as a data disk. This is very easy and it can be done very easily. This is how we recover the data also. But if you want to prevent this, then what do? That you encrypt the disk. So the moment you encrypt the disk, so even if you remove the disk and attach it somewhere, it will ask for a password, not the operating system ID and password, because no, you're not using that as an OS disk. You're using that as a data disk, but still, because if it is encrypted, so it will ask for a password. So that is the benefit of encryption. Even if you don't understand it well, it's okay. If you want to know it, we'll cover it more in next session, but it's just not that important. Any doubts do you guys have in storage accounts and these details, whatever we have done till now?
I have a question about the soft delete. If we check the soft delete on container, does it inherit on the blobs
No,
also?
no.
Okay.
So let's say that if I upload a file here, in this one, I think we have enabled soft delete, right? This is a newly created one.
Yes.
We have enabled the soft delete here. So let's say we don't have much time. I hope I'll be able to show it to you. But you guys can create and look it for yourself, how it looks. For some reason it failed. Fine, that's okay. It got failed. We'll see it next week then. I'll give I'll put some questions and give you some tasks to create storage accounts. I will give you the parameters. Just make sure you use all the parameters correctly and create the storage account and let me know. I'll check and I'll delete it. Okay, guys, then see you
Okay, Sohail.
next week.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.